let's go ahead talk about the head coaching updates. So even after the first round of the wild card, we already have some head coaching decisions made, mainly from teams who have already been eliminated from the postseason and are just waiting for the offseason to start so that way they can try and improve. So first, as we all remember, the Dallas Cowboys, they didn't fire McCarthy. They just did not come to an agreement on getting a new contract, and now there's a head coaching vacancy over in Dallas. And it should also be noted that the New England Patriots did end up making a decision on their head coach. They ended up hiring Mike Vrabel on Sunday, and the Jets, Bears, Raiders, Saints, and the Jaguars are still interviewing candidates to become the next head coach for their organization. And while Mike McCarthy is already out, Jerry Jones isn't really wasting any time on trying to get a new coach. And one of the coaches that the Cowboys plan on interviewing is Robert Saleh, the head coach, former head coach for the New York Jets. As we know, the Jets are a complete dumpster fire, and Robert Saleh was part of that dumpster fire. And whether you think he was the reason why they were bad or not, regardless, the Jets are one of the worst teams in the NFL, so nothing has really changed whether you have him or whether you don't have him. Whether he's the type of coach to make a difference maker for the Cowboys, that's not entirely certain. That remains to be seen, because again, we don't really have enough evidence to support that Robert Saleh helps the Jets in winning and making it to the playoffs. But what we can say is that the Jets are almost just as bad of a team, whether if they had him or whether they didn't have him. So it might not necessarily be a coaching problem. It might be a problem with the roster overall. While I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers for the Jets played amazing, it wasn't like he was getting any help from anyone else. So Robert Saleh is on the board, and it looks like they're a little bit interested in acquiring him. One of the craziest takes I actually saw on the internet was the possibility of the Cowboys getting Deion Sanders to be their head coach. Like, it was a very weird, and there's not likely a chance that this ever happens, and at least I don't think. I mean, he said that the only reason why he would coach an NFL team would be a chance to coach his sons. And assuming that you're Dallas and you're not going to be able to get Shedeur Sanders or his son, like, you'd have to waste 2 draft picks on both of those players. Now, you already have a franchise quarterback in Dak Prescott, but I mean, I doubt that the Cowboys are going to move on from Dak just to have Deion Sanders be their head coach. I mean, that's a possibility, like it could happen, but I completely doubt that. I'm sure that the team that has Travis Hunter is going to want to give up a lot of assets, is going to want you to give up a lot of assets in order to get him, if that's what you really want. So it seems like right now this is this seems to be the easier option for the head coaching position, which, as a Giants fan, I feel like this is really good, because Robert Saleh is just, I don't see him as a competent coach. Again, the Jets, they're arguably worse without him. I mean, when he was the head coach, the Jets weren't winning, but they were winning way more than what they're winning now. And this was with Zach Wilson as their quarterback, which is an experience. As we know, Zach Wilson is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL right now. And again, like I feel like there's no other like option that the Cowboys really have. And again, I don't think Dion is going to ever leave coaching Colorado, assuming that there is a team that ends up getting both of his sons, which is very unlikely. They'll probably get Shador on a team, but I don't know about Shiloh. Let me know in the comments if you guys think Shiloh should be drafted or something like that. I doubt he will, but that's basically the coaching update that we have for like going on in Dallas. And as we know, I didn't really get to talk about this much. Mike Vrabel being selected as the head coach for the New England Patriots. I mean, obviously, this is an organization that, similar to the Cowboys, they like to try and hire former staff to coach their team. This is something that just happens in the Patriots dynasty and the Patriots society. That's sort of what happens, and that's like, as an owner, you would want to work with previous people that you've hired before. You'd want to work with them, and not only that, he also ended up playing football for a majority of his career with New England, so there's also that. But his coaching experience, like, he has been a coach for the Patriots before, so I will say that's very unfortunate of a situation to be in if you were the Patriots coach last year. Like, I feel like that's that was just an ultimate like a slap in the face, I guess you could say. I mean, Gerard Mayo was basically just a scapegoat, and from what I've heard, it wasn't like he had full on authority of what exactly went on in the roster. So like, he was the head coach and he was making decisions, but apparently there were also other people making decisions in there, and he was sort of just an experiment or something along those lines. Like, those were that was from what I've heard in from what I've read in some of the reports. Like, that's unbelievable how it's like, imagine you have a full head coaching position and you're still unable to make the full, complete decisions on the team, and you're eventually going to get discarded off. Like, that is just, at least in my opinion, so insulting to finally be at that position where you're ending up making a lot of money, and it just turns out that they just want you for just 1 year, and then that's it. They're going to move on. Like, that is just unbelievable situation to be in. And I would feel absolutely awful if I was the head coach in that decision, because it was like, that record is going to forever be on his resume, and it's not even like he can say it was completely his fault because he wasn't the only person making decisions. So maybe now that they actually have a legitimate head coach, again, we'll have to see how long he lasts in New England, then maybe the overall again, but this is just like a really bad roster. They already got messed up in the draft, so they're not going to be selecting first overall. Regardless, they do have a really good quarterback that they can build on going into the future. So I think that's going to be the first step for this New England team. And so I'm not entirely sure whether or not the coach should probably stay for multiple years, because again, this roster is, simply put, not good enough to really be in the competing category yet. So that's all that I really have to say in this first segment. So now we're going to go ahead and go into the second segment, where I talk about Quinn Ewers declaring for the NFL draft. So I'll be right back after this short break. Be sure to stay tuned.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. Oh, I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody